ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents exclusive coverage of the $50 million NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Today from Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California, final eliminations of the 16th running of the Fram-Autolite Nationals. Hello again, everybody. Marty Reed along with Mike Dunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reef, Parker Johnstone, our entire ESPN2 crew. We're so glad you're with us. Let's get you caught up on exactly what has happened so far in the race day as we get ready to go into Top Fuel and take you back to round number 1. First up, it was David Baca and Doug Herbert, and it was Baca getting the better of this one. As you can see, Herbert explodes the board, and Baca goes 4.80 seconds at 304 miles an hour. You're on board with Tony Schumacher. He got a solo run after Chris Karamazini was not able to answer the call. He went 5.64 after smoking the tires. Rhonda Hartman-Smith dumped Corey McLenathan for her title sponsors race. She runs a 4.82 at 2.54. Then it was Darrell Russell and Paul Romine. And Darrell Russell, the Hockley, Texas native, took 4.64, 3.15 over a 4.72 at 3.09. Then it was Kenny Bernstein and David Grubnick. And KB in the left lane goes 4.62 seconds, 319 miles an hour. Scott Wise then took care of business over Don Lampas. And Wise ran 4.86 seconds at 259 miles an hour. That would bring us to the points leader. Larry Dixon up against John Smith. And Larry lays down 4.60 seconds, 322 miles an hour. This one never in doubt. Then Mike Strasburg took a hit at the tree, came up red. Doug Kalitta, 4.66 seconds, 316 miles an hour. Take a look now at the Top Fuel ladder. Arrow indicates it'll be Doug Kalitta, Kenny Bernstein with the lane choice on the left side, Larry Dixon, and Rhonda Hartman-Smith over on the right. What about funny car? Well, let's show you what happened with Dean Scusa. He's in the Meatloaf machine this week, and Meatloaf was kind of happy because he ran a 4.96, 3.01, and 5.04 for Ron Capps, and there is Meat digging it all. Cruz Pedregon, he's been hot lately. He runs a 5.01 at 2.98. Johnny Gray, never a player in this one. Then John Force and Dale Creasy. Creasy gave Force all he could handle, but John wins it with a 4.95 at 2.98. Then Dale Worsham and Frank Pedregon. And watch what happens to Frank. The car explodes, singeing his eyebrows and his eyelashes and giving him some minor burns around his eyes, but that was it. It could have been an awfully lot worse.
Well, you're right, Marty. It definitely could have been worse. We saw Frank just basically get the thing out of the groove and put a cylinder out. He had to backpedal, which means he got out of the throttle and got back in it. Then it put another cylinder out as it was spinning the tires. That just mixed that motor up tremendously. Then basically either drops the valve or blows the rod and ignites that fuel that's in that manifold and launches the supercharger and, in this case, the body sky high into the air. At that point, Frank's hanging on. The chutes are automatically deployed when the body came off because they're connected to the body. And then Frank does everything he can to get that thing stopped, and he does a great job.
Whit Bazemore did take the win in a 5.32, but take a look at the destruction. I'm sorry, it was Dale Worsham taking the win. Get to Whit Bazemore in just a matter of seconds. And there is what's left of the car. Next up was the biggest surprise of first round. Keith Jackson hadn't qualified for a race since 1998. And he goes out and takes out the points leader. And John Medlin can't believe it as Tony Pedregon loses a 5.01 to a 5.43. Now let's talk about Whit Bazemore. Arnie Carton left before the light ever got activated. Whit wins it in a 4.92. Then Gary Scelzi follows by taking care of Scotty Cannon with a 4.89. That would be Lowy last time of the first round. And then we finish it off with Tommy Johnson Jr. and Tim Wilkerson. Tim never a factor. TJ a 5.03 at 286 miles an hour. So take a look at the ladder and you can see who's got the lane choice. It'll be John Force and Gary Scelzi over Whit Bazemore. More on that in a moment. And then Dean Scusa and Cruz Pedregon with the lane choice over on the right side. Of course, flashing back to last week in Seattle where the lane choice went to Gary Scelzi and he gave the choice lane to Whit Bazemore. What's going to happen this week? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends on which interview you listen to, but I mean, it kind of sounds like they're going to run the thing heads up. We heard different stories. One was that they were going to basically, the car leading the points was going to get lane choice, and then they were going to race for it. But lane choice doesn't seem to be a big factor. Most of the teams are choosing the right-hand lane, but we saw Kenny Bernstein choose a left-hand lane and make a good run with that 462. So either way, I don't think it's going to be a factor.
There was no doubt last week, if you saw our video, I mean, the left lane was horrendous. In fact, let's take you back. I mean, it was just awful. You could not negotiate the left lane without having some kind of tire smoke. Only 2 cars in top fuel got down in the left lane. We talked to some of the principals.
We didn't intentionally smoke the tires over there, but we did give them the better lane, and we tried racing heads up, and we smoked the tires.
There's tough decisions that you have to make. They're business decisions. I made a decision, worked with the 2 crew chiefs, and we decided to go in the lanes that we went in. But we're really out there emulating what John Force has done for years, and we're working together as a team to go out there and win a world championship. That's what it's all about.
We did race heads up. They did give us lane choice, which unfortunately in Seattle meant, the odds were very much against them. And I think our philosophy from here on out is that the team in the lead will probably have lane choice, and hopefully that doesn't mean anything.
We're going to do whatever we can to make one of these Schumacher's car win the championship. The only car that can potentially win it from here to the end of the season is Whit Bazemore's car.
Anytime from here on out, when you meet one of those team cars, Bazemore's going to win.
I'm not saying that 100%. I think if I was racing Gary Scelzi in the final round of the U.S. Nationals, that'd be a very tough decision to make, to potentially take away a win for Scelzi in Oakley. If I was racing Scotty Cannon in the final rounds at Pomona, it would be very difficult to make that decision and take away a win for Scotty in Oakley. So we're going to have to basically understand the circumstances. The ultimate goal is for one of these Schumacher cars to win the championship.
I will not have one of my drivers lay over or have a crew chief crank the clutch wide open and go out there and smoke the tires, as has happened in this sport with some of the other teams. We will race, and hopefully if we have even lanes at a good racetrack, they're going to go up there and race.
And I think you can see there's a lot of mixed signals there, and these 2 cars are going to face off in the next round, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all shakes out. And then we come back, it'll be time for Pro Stock as we get ready to go back to racing on the track here at Infineon Raceway here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. And don't forget, coming up next at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, John Kernan will have the day in motorsports from right here in Sonoma. Winston Cup at Indy and Formula One at Hockenheim as we have a great day of action. Only 3 are in the hunt for the Pro Stock Championship. Greg Anderson, Kurt Johnson, and Warren Johnson. Anderson may have the points lead, but he knows KJ and the professor are breathing down his neck. But they both know, with 9 races left, that time is running out for them to catch him. And when you take a look at the ladder, look at that 3rd matchup. That's right, the family Johnson squares off in round number 1, so somebody is going to give up some ground to Greg Anderson. And you can see Jake Coughlin over the number 2 qualifier and the other lane choices with the arrows indicated. Now let's talk a little bit about the cost of running Pro Stock, Mike.
Well, Marty, let's talk about the per-run cost, and that just includes the parts only. You're talking about $2,500 a run. Then when you add in all the other ingredients, basically your crew salaries, the travel expenses, insurances, and so forth, normally it's about $1.5 to $2 million budget to run a competitive Pro Stock team for 1 year.
And as we get ready for Gene Wilson and Ron Krischer, a good question is always, where did the money come from?
Boy, that's come from sponsors or some rich guy that wants to put enough money in there to run for a full season.
Krischer, of course, did not qualify last time out at Seattle, and Gene Wilson trying to pick up a rare round victory. And he's going to do it. 6.84 seconds, 202 miles an hour. Krischer bows out with a 695 at 2:01. Now, if you saw earlier on the highlights, boy, Frank Pedregon had a huge explosion. Let's get an update from Parker.
Yes, he did, Marty, and you're looking at the remains of that catastrophic engine explosion. The damage to the bodywork, we estimate about $35,000, but it's much more than that, because as you look at these damaged parts, you have to consider that with that explosion, that engine is a complete write-off. Crank, block, head, supercharger, intake manifold. So you take the $35,000 worth of body damage, add $55,000, you're up to $90,000. But it's been a rough couple of weeks for this team, because remember, just 2 weeks ago at Denver, they had a supercharger explode. It also damaged the bodywork. The estimate there, $20,000 to $25,000. You add this all up, you're looking at $110,000 to $125,000 conservatively for the last few weeks of racing. I tell you, the sport is not for the weak of heart or weak of pocketbook, Marty.
Ouch. Thanks, Parker. As we get back to the starting line, young 20-year-old Dave Conley going to go up against the old wily veteran, 53-year-old Bruce Allen. Allen's been on a roller coaster. He has had feast or famine. It's either been very good at times, and also at other times it's been abysmal. Was first off the line and first to the stripe. 6.83 seconds, 202 miles an hour. Bruce ran a 684 at 2:02. And immediately you can see that they're already starting the next set of cars as we get ready for Larry Morgan and Alan Johnson, a couple of the Mopar cars. Morgan in the neon, closest to you right there, and the Dodge Stratus of Alan Johnson.
Marty, we've been talking about lane choice, and all the fuel cars, except for Kenny Bernstein, chose the right-hand lane. And Kenny Bernstein ran a 462 in that right-hand lane. So that tells me the lanes are very, very equal. But now in Pro Stock, we're seeing the cars that do have lane choice so far have all chosen the left lane. And that first pair, Ron Krischer, who was in the right lane and lost, got very, very loose. So maybe the Pro Stock sees something in that left lane that they like.
Last year, Larry Morgan won his last event since then here at Infineon. He beat Greg Anderson by 2/10,000th of a second. It was the closest margin all year long. He hasn't been back to the winner's circle since, but he was in the finals last time out at Seattle. Big boost for that team. His last time, Alan Johnson, a 681. He gets a little revenge because Larry Morgan got him last time. 681 to a 682 as we go to the far end.
Well, we talk about this new generation of Pro Stock racer coming in, and here's a great example of it. Dave Conley, a former standout sportsman racer, now in Pro Stock, and just took out Bruce Allen in a very impressive way.
Yeah, Bruce Allen's a tough guy to beat. Glad we can go next round. I just got to thank everybody at the Baltimore Sports team. John, Tommy Utt, Jeff Taylor, and Brad, all them guys. They did an awesome job. And hopefully we can go some more rounds.
I think the class has a new baby-faced assassin here.
The older we get, the younger they look. Mark Wisnett and Scott Jeffrey next up at the starting line. Wisnett, first time he's made a field in his last 6 efforts. This team has been struggling, and maybe they have turned a corner. For Jeffrey, he's a runner-up here back in 1994, but 1 year ago he did not qualify here when he was running the Mustang. Of course, all that has changed with the new addition Ford.
You know, and Scott Jeffron with that Bob Pennell horsepower, kind of a local hometown track for them. Pennell up here in Northern California building them engines, and boy, they make some very, very good horsepower. Hopefully they can get that thing hooked up. It seems to be their problem. It's just a matter of getting that thing hooked up and making the perfect run, because they do have the horsepower.
Red light for Wisnett. And a 687. Oh, Wisnett's going to be kicking himself. He ran a 683, had him covered. His 3rd whole shot loss. We've got to take a break. Don't forget, next Sunday it is time for the IRL IndyCar Series at the Gateway 250. Gilles de Ferran returns to the track where he took the checkered flag last year. It's Sunday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC. And time now for us to come back to the track here at Infineon Raceway and get ready for the family matchup. Son Kurt, closest to you right there in the right lane against father Warren Johnson. And Kurt, in the points chase in Pro Stock, comes into this round trailing by 119. Warren is third in the points, 299 back.
Got to wonder about team owners' orders, because Kurt Johnson in the past has taken a dive for his father, but obviously now that it's a little bit different because Kurt is leading his father Warren in the points.
Advantage starting line, Kurt. And the win light in a hole shot. KJ, 6.80 seconds to the quicker but losing 6.79 seconds. Both of them ran 2:03, Parker.
Marty, previous to this race, these two have met each other 3 times this year, and one of the interesting stats is that anytime they've met, at least one of them has gone on not only to the final, but to win the event.
As we take another look at it, and let's go to talk to Scott Jeffrey on, Bill.
Scott Jeffrey on. He'd have rung you up, you know, if he didn't foul, because he went 683, you went 687, but all's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well, and we're real fortunate to get this Nitro Fish 4 down through there that round. It was all over the racetrack, real loose, spinning and shaking and grabbing, but, you know, I'll take it. We're moving on.
Yeah, based on what he's done so far, every round win this season is something to celebrate about.
And as we go back to the starting line, time now for Mike Edwards and Mark Powick. There is Mike Edwards. He'll be over in the left lane. If Powick can win this round, it's a milestone for him. He will have picked up his 200th round victory.
It's going to be tough getting around Mike Edwards. He's looked very good in qualifying. Number 3 qualifier, and ran very consistent. Just kind of quiet in there, but boy, he's been running some very, very good numbers. If he can do that, Mark Powick's going to have a tough job getting around him.
Number 200's going to have to wait. 6.81 seconds. Beats a 6.85 for Mark Powick. And, hey, Bill, Kurt Johnson wins on a hole shot. 4th time Dad's lost on a hole shot this year.
Can we be honest?
We're always honest.
Well, you may always be honest. I'm not, but that's beside the point. I really thought that maybe there'd be a little bit of skullduggery there, but when you beat your dad on a hole shot, both you guys are going for it.
Now it's a straight-up race. You never know about this drag racing, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You know, there's so many highs and lows in this stuff. To get in on the last run with that 79 and then wind up running Dad, you know, your ultimate low right there. You know, it's just 2 teams that are kind of slumming around in the morning, but somebody's got to win. So hopefully we can get this AC Delco Chevrolet in a winner's circle still in the points hunt.
Yeah, he's got to keep pace with Greg Anderson, and we know what he can do.
And we're about to find out what Greg Anderson can do as you look at this beautiful facility here at Infineon Raceway. And there is wife Kim, and there is the points leader. And boy, he has just been on a tear. He has got just control on a stranglehold. And poor J.R. Carr, as the number 16 qualifier, has to somehow find 6 100ths. That's the difference between pole and 16th place. Off the starting line for J.R. Carr, but just not enough horsepower. Look at this backbreaker. Kim likes it. 678. That's low for the round. 204 miles an hour. That's top speed of this first round. It doesn't come close to his 205 track record, but he'll take it and move on. And now the number 2 qualifier comes to the line, and the man who is 4th in the points. That is Jake Coughlin. He'll be up against Greg Stanfield. More on this battle, but first let's check in with Dave Reed.
Well, Marty, if anybody missed it in our earlier show today, probably the biggest upset we've seen in all of drag racing this year, Keith Jackson getting past Tony Pedregon. If you can see some of the crew guys down here, the look on their face says it all. Everybody's shocked at Tony Pedregon losing in the first round for the 3rd consecutive race. Swept the entire swing by losing in the first round. As far as Tony, Dickie Venables, and John Medlin, the crew chiefs on this effort, right now as we speak, currently up in Tony Pedregon's hauler, talking things out, and when they come out, we'll get a chance to talk with them.
Back to the starting line where the number 2 qualifier, Jake Coughlin, you're on board there. We'll go up against, well, actually, Greg Stanfield, man, he's met several times in sportsman racing. They've met 3 times in their pro stock career. Jake's won all 3 of them. Stanfield was first off the line, but Jed goes 6:79.
79 with a 5:202.67. Great job, Jake. Obviously felt great, great everywhere. Felt a little bit loose down track, so let's take a good close look at that and maybe address that.
So let's take a look. Arrow indicates that Greg Anderson and Kurt Johnson could be on another collision course. Numbers 1 and 2 in the points. There's number 4, Jake Coughlin. He'll have lane choice over Conley. Alan Johnson over Mike Edwards. So when we come back to Infinity Raceway, it'll be time to turn our attention to 2 wheels. That's right, Pro Stock Bike coming up next here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. Back here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals, it's round 15 of the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Time now for Pro Stock Bike. This is a wacky Pro Stock Bike season. Angel Savoy is a 3-time winner, but also has 3 first-round losses. Craig Treble is barred in a season-long slump. Gino Scali is the bike point leader for the first time in his career. And in Denver, Blaine Hale grabbed his first career win, courtesy 2 red lights and a hole shot. And take a look at the matchups here in round number 1. Notice the 3rd one down. The U.S. Army teammate's going to go head-to-head. And there's the points leader, Gino Scali, in the number 5 qualifying spot. Here's the right side of the ladder. Arrow, as always, indicates who has the lane choice. Let's talk a little bit about the cost of running a Pro Stock bike.
Well, let's talk about the per-run cost for just the parts, which includes the engine, clutch parts, chassis, tires, fuel, you name it, whatever it takes to get that bike down the track in just over 7 seconds, 190 miles an hour, is $1,000 per run. Total season, remember, they run a 15-race season as opposed to 23-race season for Pro Stock and Fuel. They're still going to spend $400,000 in their quest for the Powerade Championship.
And our first pair on the line just starting. Oh, the red light for Steve Johnson. Left side of your screen, Karen Stouffer automatically wins. And they run identical, 7.18 seconds. And that quickly brings us back to Fred Collis and Andrew Hines. And Andrew, yesterday, we sort of lost this in the near collision that Mike Berry had on his run with Andrew. Andrew ran 195.28 miles an hour. That's the fastest a Pro Stock bike has ever gone. If he goes 193.35 or better, it's a new national speed record. Fred Collis over in that left lane says, got to get past me first. 7:11, 187. The speed record's going to have to wait, but Andrew moves on to the second round of competition. Let's go to the far end to Bill.
I'm in the presence of royalty here. Reigning Pro Stock champion and the current points leader, Greg Anderson, low for the round again, 678.
That's okay. I'm not bored with that, Bill. I know you're getting a little bored of that, but I kind of like it. Just a beautiful race course out there, and what that means, you're going to see great side-by-side racing for the fans today. It's going to be door handle to door handle all day long. A lot of fast cars, and really the track's no excuse today. You got to get after it.
And the fast driver over here on the opposite side of the ladder. You just a skosh slower, 679, Jack.
Yeah, we're real pleased with that. We had a little bit of track temperature today, headwind to deal with, but nothing out of the question. Team's been doing a great job, and as Greg mentioned, just a flawless facility, and it's always a pleasure to come here.
You want to talk about drivers overdue for a victory? How about Jag? It has been a long time.
And we'll find out if they will meet in the finals, because they are on opposite sides, as Bill pointed out. Now, as we get back to this race, there's Fred Camarena. He's the number 16 qualifier, and there's the man who picked up his first ever career pole. Seems hard to believe, but the Matco Tools machine of Craig Treble sits on point, 7.06 seconds. And, of course, that was a new ET record here at Infineon. Treble first off the line, and he runs 7.11 seconds at 188 miles an hour. Camarena gave it a good shot at 7:21, but just not quite good enough. And that 7:11 going to be good enough for lane choice by Treble over Karen Stouffer in second round matchups. Already GT Tonglet coming to the line against Reggie Showers. Showers running his quickest run ever, 7.07 seconds for a Hayabusa-bodied Pro Stock Suzuki. And Tonglet, of course, was the pole sitter, fouled out at Denver from the #1 qualifying spot, so he wants a little revenge. There is track temperature right now at 121 degrees. And Reggie, talk about speed, he went 194.27 miles an hour, just 1 mile an hour less than Andrew Hines. So that man right there, they are flying. Red light, Showers. And GT goes 7.16 seconds at 185 miles an hour. Reggie's going to be kicking himself because, wow, this was a heck of a performance. He ran 7:17, but Tonglet, a 001 light. Showers was 4 thousandths under. That's John Force's pick. Stay with us. Back here at Infineon Raceway, Pro Stock bike action underway here as we are in first round, and Burnouts getting ready to take place between the teammates, Angel Savoy and Antron Brown.
And Angel Savoy's taking the left-hand lane, and the Pro Stock bikes seem to be mixing up a little bit. I mean, Andrew Hines chose the right-hand lane, Reggie chose the right-hand lane and lost. Andrew did win his heat. So the track temperature, when we see it getting above 120 degrees for the fuel car, that's usually the point where it gets very, very tough to get down the racetrack. Pro Stock bikes, obviously, they have to make adjustments. Not quite as bad, but still something they have to be aware of.
Angel held the track record coming into this year's event at 7.07 seconds. The last 2 races, though, she has lost in the opening round, and she has never lost 3 first-round matchups in a row. Red light, Angel. She has done it now. And what was that in the right lane that I saw? A 7:20 by Antron Brown. Angel coasted out at 7:40. What piece of material is that? We'll have to check and see if it came off of Antron's bike. Let's take another look.
Boy, Angel wasn't even close. I almost got to think maybe it rolled the lights. I couldn't tell from that shot there, but I mean, she was red by almost 0.3 of a second. But we see Antron down there carrying that front wheel a little bit. And then it comes off right there just past or just before half track. It's hard to tell what that is from that angle, but evidently it didn't affect the run because he still made a decent pass down the track. Boy, I had made possibly a piece of that body work from underneath, and we saw that with Mike Ferry where it actually cut his rear tire.
Angel's second red light this year. Let's talk to Craig Treble. Bill?
The defending event champion. Something about this place, I guess.
Yeah, I sure dig this track. So far, so good. We just ran an 11. Pretty warm out here. We'll take it for the Maco Tools distributors and everybody down there at SMR and Speed Graphics and American Fire and Skinner Interior. Let's not forget them guys.
He doesn't get to smile very much, at least not till this weekend.
And another red light. Sean Connor, just as you finish, Bill, goes red to Gino Scali, the points leader. So Scali, who came into this race 108 ahead of Angel, is now 128 because Angel is out and Scali has moved on. Bill?
With Angel Savoy, what happened?
What was my light?
Well, I'll get it from the truck in a minute, but was there anything unusual about the way you launched the bike? 297 light, Angel. You were pretty far off the game there.
297? I don't know what happened. Maybe I was holding the clutch too lightly. I know Antron was going to cut a good light. I was trying to cut a good light along with him. I'm so sorry for the U.S. Army and Don Schumacher Racing because I believe that my Suzuki is able to win this race. I believe that Suzuki's able to win this race, but, you know, we're both as competitive as anybody out here, and I wanted to win, especially for the points, and you can blame this one on me. It's all my fault.
Antron, a 720. Did you know Angel fouled out and you pulled out, or the bike didn't just run for you?
I saw a foul out, but, you know, we've been struggling with this bike a little bit this year. We had some problems, you know. I feel bad because the better bike should be in the race, and I hate winning on the red light, and I just wish, hopefully we can pick this one up right here and get back in the hunt right now, because we got other people got a little bit of advantage, but I believe that we could pull it off over there. If everybody digs deep, we could pull a win out here for the U.S. Army for the first time.
Looked like something may have shaken loose on the back of the bike. Any idea what it was?
Oh yeah, the back, we've been having a little problem with it kicking out on the start line, and this bike's a little bit old, so if that's the case, I know Mark's ready to finish building our new one back at the shop, and hopefully this bike will be all right. It'll be good for the next round.
And as you guys noticed, Mr. Phillips, Michael gets a win because Mike Berry, who gave us a fright yesterday at the farm when a tire let go in the rear, went red. We got a lot of red lights here in the opening round of Pro Stock Bike. Blaine Hale, man, did he make a little bit of history. He's in the number 15 spot. He won from the number 16 spot in Denver. Sean Gann, the number 2 qualifier in the left lane. Never activated for either rider. Now it finally activates. Blaine Hale is going to win the round.
That was one of the weirdest things I saw. Blaine Hale wasn't staged. You saw a stage light go out. And then basically Sean Gann just left before the tree was activated. After Sean left, then Blaine rolled his bike in, put the stage light on, the tree activated, he left and won the round.
And was a presence of mind to go 7:17. So you're dead spot on, Mike. He never lit that bottom bulb, and it just, or if he did light it, it didn't trigger the mechanism because the red light came on, and you could see the team's asking some questions for Sean Gann, but Gann is out of here. So we'll sort this out some more, and we'll go to Parker.
Oh, hi, Marty. Just using a little racer's eyebrow pencil on Frankie Pedregon, and we can joke because you're okay. This is just antibiotic ointment they've got on you from the burns. We saw the destructive force that occurred during that run. Bent metal, exploded motor, bodywork. What about you? Are you all right?
I'm fine. Like I said, it's singed eyebrows, eyelashes gone, but that stuff will grow back. They said if I had a unibrow, it's gone now. So anyway, but no, hey, everything did its job. What happens around my eyes, I wear this head sock, and basically it blew my visor wide open. The explosion was so intense. So I'm sitting there trying to steer this car, and I put the visor down, and this is just what happens. I'll heal. It's just a little bit of burn cream, and like I said, the team did a good job, but when you get off these cars and on them and pedal it like I do, it's in my hands, and they can explode just like it did. You're basically dealing with a time bomb.
Now, you had an explosion 2 weeks ago in Denver. You went a long time in your career with very little of this kind of thing happening to you. How does that affect your confidence?
Actually, I can't wait to get back in the car again. Yeah, I was in an ambulance a week ago, too, and in Denver, actually 2 weeks ago in Denver, and I had a little fire there too, but this is part of the game. This is why I get paid the big dollars, and we fixed the car, and I can't wait to get back in the car again.
You can't wait to get behind the wheel of an 8,000 horsepower bomb. Well, that's why he's the driver.
Thanks, Parker. Let's go back and take a look at this situation one more time.
Watch right here. You're going to see Blaine Hale go in and put the stage light on. Remember, they staged with their feet against the pegs. Then he's going to back it out. At this point, Sean Gann goes in the stage. Now, he's focused on the tree. He doesn't realize that light has gone out. And basically, the tree's usually activated in about 0.8 of a second. He just basically left, thought the light was going to come on. Blaine Hale rolls her back in, stages the bike, waits for the tree to come down, drives on down for the win.
And it is official. The tree was never activated when Gann left, so he is out of here. 6 red lights out of 8 races in the opening round. Wow, that's a fun. Stay with us. We're coming right back. At Infineon Raceway, and we want to remind you, join John Kernan on RPM tonight. Highlights from right here in Sonoma. Of course, Winston Cup is in Indy and F1 in Germany. That's coming up next, 10 o'clock Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Track Fact, brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles.
To prepare and propel a racing car over 300 miles an hour requires one expensive motor. And in our continuing analysis of what it costs to go drag racing, we thought we'd talk to Bill Miller of Bill Miller Engineering, who produces a lot of the components that are used not only here in NHRA drag racing, but many forms of motorsports, including Winston Cup. And Bill, as we look at these expensive fuel motors. First of all, start from the beginning. What does a block cost? What does a crank cost?
Oh, let's see. The blocks are roughly around $6,000 for the forged blocks. The crankshafts are in the $2,800 to $3,000 range.
And as we move up, we look at the connecting rods and pistons. What do those cost?
The connecting rods are $140 a piece. The pistons are roughly in the $55 range. The pins are $60 a piece because the material is a really expensive material. The rings average about $40 per piston. Then you can go on to the intake valves, which are the titanium intake valves. They're $65, $70 a piece. The Inconel exhaust valves, good God, they're in the $50, $60 range a piece also. The bearings run anywhere from $5 to $10 per assembly, as far as mains and rod bearings are concerned. You can move over to the cylinder heads. The bare piece of material, which it starts off as obviously a chunk of 6061, in this case, T6 aluminum, is like $6,000 for a pair of just the raw heads. And then once you get past the raw head, then you get over into the valves, which we just talked about, the springs, the retainers, the split locks, the jumper lines, the down nulls, and everything else, all the studs. All told, by the time the cylinder head gets assembled, it's probably up into the close to $8,000 a pair range, and then you put $3,000 worth of rocker arms on top of it, which have titanium shafts and all roller tip rocker arms, 4340 chrome moly billet exhaust rockers. I mean, by the time you just get the head done, ready to run, you're probably close to 15 grand just for the pair, if not more.
And then we've got the intake manifold, the supercharger.
The supercharger, for example, that's easily like our Gibson Miller superchargers are in the $8,000 to $10,000 range. The injectors are anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. So you can really start adding it on. The manifolds are $2,500. I mean, it gets to be out of range in a hurry, trust me.
And that's just the motor. That's not the chassis, the truck and trailer rig, the crew uniforms, the travel, the awning, and everything else involved. By the time you get this all done, it costs an awful lot of money to go over 300 miles an hour.
Thank you, Parker. Very, very interesting. Thanks to Bill as well. Hey, let's talk about our traction area. The word is burnout today.
Well, a burnout is described as the rapid spinning of rear tires in water before a run. This heats and cleans the tire rubber, resulting in increased traction.
And we talked to some of the drivers on how they do their burnouts.
One of the toughest things about a nitro car is they are so inconsistent. So everything a driver does, from the burnout length to the time he does it to the amount of throttle, is very, very critical.
In the car, we have one fuel pump turned on. We're squeezing the throttle. We try to do a smooth burnout. We don't like to whack the throttle where the tires get tall, short, narrow. We want to lay a nice, smooth, even tire path down.
What you try to do is you roll through the burnout box, they give you the okay. You only move the throttle that much. I mean, it's 7,000 horsepower. You just go into the throttle stop. It gets up on the tire, and then it's like driving on ice.
Our car, we only open up the throttle blades like maybe 1/8 of an inch. I mean, it don't take much, especially you get the tire in water like that, where it gets them spinning, and then once it's up on the tire and spinning, it's pretty easy to do one.
Thanks, guys. And when we come back, it'll be time for Top Fuel's second round here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. Stay with us. Take a look now at the Top Fuel ladder as we get ready for this second round of action. Arrow is best lane choice. First up, it's Rhonda Hartman-Smith and Scott Wise. And Rhonda has to click it before the finish line. Runs a very nice 488 at 259 miles an hour. And you saw Scott Wise going up in smoke. So Rhonda advances to the semifinals.
Well, Scott Wise had a little bit too much power. Ran 459 in that lane yesterday, but this time he just flat overpowered the racetrack. Rhonda Hartman, on the other hand, she went down the racetrack, put a cylinder out right there just before half track, and then another one right before the finish line cuts it off. Now watch Scott Wise. This thing was stuck yesterday to that lane, but he spun the tires early, backpedaled, tried to get to recover, but it was to no avail. By then, Rhonda Hartman-Smith, even though she was running on 7 cylinders, had enough power to get by for the win.
And as we get ready for our next pair, let's quickly get an update from Parker Johnstone.
Well, Marty, Blaine Hale and Sean Gann, you guys, faced each other in round 1 elimination action, and they were pre-staged and staged. What happened?
I'm not sure. I turned my first light on, then he turned his on. My second light sort of flickered a little bit. Next thing I know, he took off. I don't know where he was going. It was everything I could do just to, stop without going with him. And then I realized, damn, he just red lit. So I rolled. Can I say damn? No. Sorry. Then I just rolled the two-step back on and took off. So I don't know what happened.
And Sean, your auto launch obviously malfunctioned there.
Yeah, we were staged and we were all together, and then I saw a flicker of this and I decided it was time to leave.
Well, it's a close-knit community here in the Pro Stock bike ranks, and at least they're laughing about it, Marty.
And what really technically happened was the tree was never fully activated, even though Blaine did flicker that bottom bulb. For some reason, it didn't click in. Therefore, it never activated the process. And then, of course, Sean went red. Now back to the race at hand. David Baca in the left lane. Doug Coletta in the right lane.
Doug Coletta, what can you say? This car's look very good, but Connie Coletta, he's been trying a different style supercharger here. The setback supercharger where it moves that thing back from the front of the engine, helps get that distribution for the cylinders to make it a little more even. Now, he qualified with the 453 with the standard supercharger, then he switched back to the other one, ran it on the last qualifying session, decided to stick with it here on race day. Feels confident about it, but boy, I tell you, I'd be a little bit nervous, but Connie Coletta, he's not afraid of nothing.
Was late off the line. A 474 beats a tire-smoking 503, and Baca is going to the semifinals, and he hasn't been there since Atlanta.
Wow. David Baca going to the semifinals. Doug Coletta had 0.05 of a second off the starting line. Smoked the tires. Now watch this. This is a fantastic job to get this car to recover. She's going to smoke the tire. He gets out of the throttle, gets back on it. It puts a cylinder out, which helped him out a little bit, but still the car recovered. He caught it quick enough. Unfortunately for him, David Baca was on a nice run in the other lane, and Doug's day is done.
Doug Coletta, who has basically owned Infineon Raceway, is out of here in the second round. And look at the celebration by the American Racing Wheel team. We're coming right back. Next Sunday, the intense competition, the IRL IndyCar Series, heads to St. Louis. 500 winner Gilles de Ferran returns to the track where he took the checkered flag last year. Don't miss the Gateway Indy 250, Sunday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC. Let's talk a little bit of financial side of Top Fuel, Mike.
Well, this isn't for the faint of heart. The cost per run, just in the parts that car will use, is normally between $4,000 and $5,000 per run. The total budget per season, when you factor in your high-dollar crew chief and your overpaid driver and all your crew members and everything else to get it down the road, you're going to spend about $2.5 to $3 million to challenge for the Powerade Championship.
Yeah, you were never an overpriced driver. Let's check in with Bill.
Rhonda Hartman Smith, another blower bell deal at the end there, but still, to go to the semis at your sponsors race is big.
That's really big to do it for Fram. We just want to go out and win some rounds and hopefully win our first race at our sponsors event. That would be a dream come true. But yeah, we got to figure out the blower belt situation because that may not get us a win. In the next round, there's some tough competitors out there.
Yeah, those Coletta boys may be over to help you out after what just happened. Here's David Baca. We're going to have to chain you up today. Wow.
Well, I'm back, Bill. It's been a while, but semifinals, here we go again. We've leapfrogged to 6. We're coming for 5th. Look out, boys. We got something left. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, proof once again, all you got to do is get down the racetrack here at a national event, and good things will usually happen.
And he's talking about the points where Baca is trying to zero in on John Smith, Rhonda's husband, for 6th spot in the points chase. You're looking at Kenny Bernstein and Darrell Russell. This is basically a rematch of last year's final at Seattle, won by Russell. When you saw the tire smoke at the hit of the throttle for Darrell, and Kenny goes 4.64 seconds, 318 miles an hour, and he will have lane choice over David Baca.
Well, you saw the little smirk and nod from crew chief Tim Richards. He liked what he saw. He took the right-hand lane. The car went right down the track in the heat of the day. 464. Got to believe that's exactly what he was looking for. You got to get it to the finish line. The car's running very, very consistent. Kenny and that team have a great shot at winning today.
And let's quickly turn our attention to Funny Car. Dave Reef is in Tony Pedregon's pit.
And everybody has come out of the lounge, and as you can see, this car being torn apart right behind John Medlin and myself. A new car is being put together, or should we say old car?
Yeah, we're going to go back to the car that we ran last year. We're just wasting too many runs on irregularities that are in our control system, and we've run that car as recently as a match race in Norwalk. It worked real well, so there's something in there that isn't consistent on this car, and as you can see, there's lots of components in there, and rather than go through, try to sort out, find out which one, we're giving up too many runs, we're just going back to the old car.
Still a shell-shocked group over here, but this car being shelved in favor of the one they finished the second half with last year. It's a Murph McKinney car that got them 4 wins and a runner-up.
The Western swing has been costly. Bazemore, with the next round of competition, is now just 44 points behind. And as we come back out on trackside, that was Tony Schumacher, and he's alongside of Larry Dixon. And my goodness, it's like the last 6 or 7 races every time these two have met. I mean, it's been only the one win by Tony at Chicago, and Larry's owned this Army team ever since.
Well, I think that's the difference in racetracks. I mean, Alan Johnson obviously has a very good combination on the good tracks, but I'll tell you, we've always said it, Dick LaHaye's a master on the marginal racetracks, and that's what we've been on lately. And I'll tell you, the deck is just definitely stacked in LaHaye's favor because, you know, Tony has definitely struggled getting this thing down the racetrack. Only really been down the track 1 time in 5 runs. They got a little bit of a break in that first round, but have definitely struggled. But, you know, Alan Johnson, he's done it before. He's not afraid to get aggressive on the 2 and make some big changes. And if it hits and sticks, you never know what could happen.
Let's quickly go to Bill.
Kenny Bernstein, good news. You now are the all-time leader in round wins by a retired driver.
How about that, huh? That's a good number, I guess. It's supposed to look at something. You guys dig everything up, don't you?
That was really an impressive run in the heat of the day.
No, it is. A great job by the team, obviously. Nice to get the lane choice today. I don't think it really matters. This is a great racetrack. But it's going to get hotter in the 3rd round and the 4th, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on it.
Solid work so far by the Budweiser team.
And as you mentioned, he will have lane choice over David Baca. You're going to have to run quicker than a 488 to get lane choice over Rhonda in this one. You saw the tire smoke, and then you saw Larry disappear at 4.59 seconds. 323 miles an hour, and Larry Dixon, to say the least, has lane choice and is flying towards the swing.
Boy, what can you say about Larry Dixon and Dick LaHaye? This was a great race for about 300 feet. Then at 300 feet, about 400 feet down track, that's when Tony Schumacher started spinning the tires, but not the case for that man there. He was stuck all the way. You see it right here. Watch the tires here in the corner. He started spinning the tires. Larry Dixon was long gone, running a fantastic 459 and over 323 miles per hour in the heat of the day.
And that's 5 races in a row now that Miller Lite car has shelved Tony Schumacher. Lane choice to Kenny Bernstein in the first semifinal in Top Fuel, and by a bunch for Larry Dixon against Rhonda. Back here at Infineon Raceway at the Fram-Autolite Nationals, round 15 of the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. So glad you're with us. That's Del Worsham in the Checker Shucks Pragen car. And Dean Scusa will be in the right-hand lane. And the arrow indicates who has the lane choice. John Force, Gary Scelzi on the left side. That big matchup still to come. Scusa with the lane choice is taking the right lane. Cruz Pedregon also will have lane choice. And so far, what do you think about the lanes? As there is Meatloaf watching his car of Dean Scusa's getting ready to go down the track.
I got to agree with Kenny Bernstein. I mean, even though everybody in the fuel categories are taking the right-hand lane, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference. You know, like we said, Kenny ran that 462 in the left lane, but obviously if everybody's going down that lane, you're going to stick with it, but I don't think it's a big difference right now.
We'll find out. Del Worsham, of course, 4th in the points chase, trying to chip away now that he knows that Tony Pedregon is out. Unfortunately for Dell, Whit Bazemore and John Force are still in.
I think this might be a good test for the lane because Del Worship was very consistent in qualifying. He had the right lane in the first round, but then went and spun the tires. But luckily, he got the win. Now he's been put over in the left-hand lane. But in qualifying, he was going down both lanes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And Meatloaf loves it. His car is going on to the semifinals. A 5:02 at 302 miles an hour for Dean Scusa. Let's check in once again with Parker Johnstone.
Well, Marty, I've been following the teammates of Gary Scelzi and Whit Bazemore and their crews since they left their pits. Now, normally, these drivers and their teams are quite jovial back in the staging lanes. They oftentimes will exchange conversations, talk about the races that have been preceding them. Very different today, especially considering the happenings last week at Seattle. Neither team, as they pulled up side by side through the staging lanes, even looked at each other. No conversations, nothing but determined, focused concentration on the minds and faces of both teammates and their crews.
Thank you, Parker. As all eyes obviously are focused, let's talk a little bit about the money that it takes to run a funny car.
Well, it's basically the same drive line and parts and the pieces as the Top Fuel counterparts. So generally it's about $4,500 per run just in parts. Total season budget $3,500 or $2.5 million to $3 million. The difference is, though, when you blow the engine up, you tend to get that body, and that's another $35,000 taken to that budget that we saw with Frank Pedregon in that first round.
One man who obviously really doesn't have to worry about that part of the equation is right there, John Force. His payroll is $4 million a year for all three cars. And Tommy Johnson's going to have the opportunity to take the #1 qualifier out.
And we're proud to announce that Meatloaf will be on your car for the entire year.
You know what? Let's do it. Even Meat himself, he's like, you know what? I know you're going to run it in Brainerd, but you know what? It's the baddest looking car out here. It looks so neat. Let's just run, you know, if it keeps running like this and he keeps doing the clutch like that, we're happy. Redline Oil, we got like 150 guests here. The Kerrigan family's taking care of them, and it's nice to go around, you know what I mean? I love it. And don't forget Cornwell either.
And we don't need no stinking multi-car team. Beats Ron Capps and Del Worsham in the first two rounds. Dave?
It seems like Tommy Johnson Jr. up against John Force. He's always come up on the wrong side of it, especially at the big races. Last year's U.S. Nationals comes to mind where John Force beat Tommy Johnson Jr. on a hole shot. Well, with the Western swing opportunity here for John Force, Tommy Johnson would like nothing better than to beat him here. I talked to his crew chief. He said as long as that thing will stay glued down in the middle, they're going to hope a low 490 gets around the 12-time champ.
Well, and it's a good point, Dave. In fact, the only time TJ has really nailed John to the shed was at the Winter Nationals this year in round #1 when he beat him.
Well, the key will be keeping that thing stuck in the middle. We haven't seen too much success in that left lane in the first two pair.
Oh, both of them. Drivers race and Force outdrives TJ in this one. 566 to a 601. Look at the fans. They were loving it. A tire smoking affair from start to finish.
Well, they don't put no big numbers up on the board, but this is exciting. They both spun the tires pretty much at the same point. John maybe a little bit farther down track. But watch John Force. He did pedal it right away. Got to recover a little bit. And then once he got to that one point, it was pretty much a smoke of the tires, but he had the momentum. He just carried it through to the finish line and got the win just ahead of TJ. Watch this again. I mean, you're going to see the car spin the tires. Watch the butterflies there. He's going to backpedal as soon as it spins the tires. Right there, gets back on it. Did a pretty good job, but then it blows the tires off, goes sideways, gets out of it again, gets back in and puts a couple cylinders out because it's still spinning the tires, but he doesn't see Tommy Johnson at this point, and there ain't no way he's going to lift.
Think about this as we go to commercial break. With that round win, John Force is now 199 points behind point leader Tony Pedregon. Unreal. I never thought we'd get this close after the Western swing, but it's happening. Stay with us. Back here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals, along with Mike Dunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reed, Parker Johnstone. I'm Marty Reed. And that is Gary Selzy and Whit Bazemore. And the lane choice goes to Selzy. Everybody's been picking the right lane. Selzy takes the right lane. Parker.
After watching Del Worsham go up and smoke in that left lane, tuner Lee Beard reached down into the chip box and retarded the ignition timing. Then watching Tommy Johnson Jr. immediately preceding them go up and smoke in the left lane, he reached in and then backed off the clutch flows. Lee is very concerned about their ability to get down this left lane right now, Marty.
As far as Mike Neff goes, briefly talked to him right after the car was fired. He did mention to me that they tried to slow the car down just a tick. Thought that 480 pass they made in the opening stanza was a little bit too brisk for right now. They're tuning their car for a low 490.
And you see the look of determination on Mike Neff's face, and you better believe Gary Selzy wants to win. And let's talk about wins by lane right now. Right lane 8-2. That's where Selzy finds himself. So we'll find out here as there is Don Schumacher. Has been under the gun since last week, and maybe this will put it to rest.
Well, I mean, he definitely took the lane choice. Gary Selzy, that is, taking the better lane, the right lane. Even though I feel they're fairly even, a lot of cars have been spinning the tires in that left lane, more so than in the right by far.
This time, as it is with Bazemore who goes up in smoke. 497 at 309, Dave.
Don Schumacher walking away. Interesting. Good race.
No, it was a race. Not the way the team owner would prefer it to come out. The two cars have to race. Whit's in the hunt for the world championship. Gary isn't. We got to have Gary go out and win a race now.
Let's go over to Parker.
Lee Beard, we saw you back off the ignition timing, the clutch flows. You said it was going to be tough getting down that left lane.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to negotiate. I certainly think the right lane's better and has produced a better elapsed times as far as funny cars go, you know. But, hey, hats off to Gary Selzy, the Oakley team, Mike Neff, that whole crew over there. They got a great race car. Hopefully they can go on to win.
And they pick up 20 points, even though he's going out here in the second round. Whit Bazemore only 44 markers behind Tony Pedregon as we get another look.
Yeah, Whit Bazemore made a little bit farther than everybody else had that lane. Just before half track, that thing started spinning the tires. Up to that point, they were pretty much side by side, but as soon as the big Goodyear started spinning, that was the end of Whit's day.
And let's go to the far end. John Force does not have lane choice. Selzy's got it, Bill.
John Force just told me straight up, lanes don't make a difference. He's happy. And John, 6 races ago, a 566 you'd have been beaten. So everything is looking your way.
Yeah, MB&A told me last week I don't get some interviews, they're going to fire me. And the old Heap went out there, and by the way, Snake's at home, we know, with his wife, and everything's cool, and most important, but Tommy Johnson knew he had to get A to B, and he was blowing the tires off, so was I. I figured he'd run over me. You know what I'm saying? Doing his job, but we're excited to come out here and old Selzy. Come here. What? In Italy, that's called the kiss of death.
That may have been too intense for younger audiences.
Well, nobody saw it at home because we were watching the Burnouts, Bill, and we need to give Don Schumacher and his team their due. They let Selzy and the team have the lane choice. They raced it straight up, and our tip of the hat goes to Don Schumacher and their race team. Keith Jackson, Cruz Pedregon now going to try and settle things here as they've got to run Dean Scusa in the next round. You got to run quicker than a 5:02 to get lane choice.
You know, even though Keith Jackson hasn't been in this position very often, if any, you still can't count him out. He ran very good, a 5:01 in the first round, which is the same thing that Cruz did. Got lane choice by a thousandth of a second, basically. But you know, Cruz Pedregon's been very, very consistent. You know, he's obviously got a bigger budget than Keith Jackson. He pretty much runs that thing out of his pocket. So it's going to be tough for Keith, but he's got Glenn Michers over there. Glenn Michers very savvy at getting a car just from A to B, not running the big numbers, but going down the racetrack.
Think about this. The last time Cruz went to 3 straight semifinals, Houston, Dallas, Richmond, 1999. If he wins here, he's done it again. Could handle 499 at 3:02 for Cruz and a 5:01 1 at 296 for Keith. Whoa, was this a great drag race.
This was just a good whole side-by-side drag race. Like you said, Keith Jackson did a great job. Cruz got about 200ths of a second off the starting line. You saw Keith move over towards the center a little bit, cost him a little bit of a lap time. Don't know if that would have been the difference. But I'll tell you what, both of these teams did a great job making a side-by-side run. In these conditions, Keith Jackson basically is the only guy to get down that left-hand lane in funny car for this round.
Almost a full car length. Let's go to Bill.
With Batesmore, you raced him.
Well, we raced them last week. Apparently, I don't know. You know, it's we smoked the tires. We didn't get the job done today.
That's the story.
Let's go to Parker. He is in Gene Wilson's camp.
Yeah, we're back in the staging lanes with Gene Wilson for only the 5th time this year. You're here on a Sunday, Gene. And for the first time this year, you're in second round competition, but you're going up against Greg Anderson. Is this everything on the tree, or nothing's going to happen for you?
Well, I tell you, Greg has been good all season, and you know, this is my first time into the second round this season for me, and you know, it's going to come down to the tree, and I think, you know, Greg's probably got a little bit of a performance advantage, so the tree's going to be a very important deal for me here. So I'm going to try to get up there and do a good job, and I know my guys are going to give me a good car here, and we'll see what the scoreboard will give us.
Well, it's good to see you here on a Sunday. Let's go up to Bill.
You know, it's really amazing. Up until 3 races ago, when I was talking to a Pedregon brother in the semifinals, it was Tony. He has been out early, and Cruz, you keep going rounds.
Well, I feel bad for Tony. You know, he's had a great car early half, but that just goes to show to all the fans and all the sponsors that are watching. This is not an easy deal, man. These cars have a mind of their own. Tony's going through a little bit of a phase right now where his car doesn't want to talk to him, but he'll get that back soon. But you know, my crew and crew chiefs are really. I mentioned the sponsors, Advance Knows I love them, but really this is a credit to the crew. But I want to take a moment to dedicate this race to Carmen Paisano, who is a real good friend of the family, brother of Joe. Guy really got me introduced to the right people years ago, and hats off to their family, and our condolences to Carmen Paisano family, great friends of ours.
And of course, Mike Dunn can tell us all about the great Paisano family.
Mike, of course, drove for Joe as we head towards commercial break. Lane choice, Gary Selzy over John Force in the first semifinal. Cruz over Dean Scusa in the other. You're looking at Dean Scusa's camp as they're getting ready for more race action. They're having a good day here at round 15 of the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Take a look at the Pro Stock ladder, and that you've got Craig Anderson and Kurt Johnson with the lane choice on the left side, and Jed Coughlin and Alan Johnson over on the right. And the first pair we're going to get a chance to look at will be that Mike Edwards, Alan Johnson matchup. And boy, you talk about guys that are good on the tree. I wouldn't be surprised if we might see another red light here, because both these guys know how good each other really is.
Yeah, and this is a great matchup. I mean, both of these cars have been running good all week, and Mike Edwards qualified number 3, very consistent. Every session he was right there with the top guys. Alan Johnson, the same thing. Like you said, he really knows how to trim that tree, get a good light on there, and Mike Edwards is very good on light. So this is a great matchup, Marty.
Well, and give you an idea how close they are in ETs. It was Alan at 6.810 seconds, Mike at 6.817 in that first round. I mean, this is going to be a great drag race.
Yeah, with lane choice going to Alan Johnson, and the Pro Stock cars, unlike the fuel counterparts, have been choosing that left-hand lane.
Both cars being extremely deliberate coming to the line.
I think both drivers know it's all going to be right on the starting line. Got to get that good light.
Oh, and with the win, a 6:84.201, Alan Johnson. A 6:86 for Mike Edwards. And take a look. That's how close the race was. They were almost dead even off the starting line. Good race. Let's check in with Parker.
Well, Marty, you're looking at a trading card from 1992 with noted Top Fuel driver Dick LaHaye. Notice the hair hasn't changed. On the back of the cart, it said he's best known for being able to negotiate tricky tracks, not only as a driver, but now as a tuner. And Larry Dixon, thanks for providing those cards and embarrassing your crew chief. As you start to accumulate records looking for your second consecutive championship, what would it mean to sweep the Western Swing?
Oh, it's huge when you look at the amount of people that have tried to do it and haven't done it. With only 3 people on the pro side of things to do it, it's just a phenomenal deal. And I really didn't bring that card out to bag on Dick. I was just showing you that he's been like that his whole career.
And I'm starting to think that Dick LaHaye may be the Dick Clark of the NHRA, Marty.
Well, yeah, I'm really jealous because, I mean, my hair keeps falling out. I have to count the pieces. In fact, I tell everybody this. I finally figured out what dandruff is, Mike. It's the suicide notes left by my hair before they jump. Kurt Johnson now, and he'll be in the left lane up alongside Scott Jeffrey on. Big round for Kurt because he's trying to keep pace. He took care of business against Dad last time out. And, of course, Greg Anderson, the points leader, leads by 119 markers.
We see in the first round, Scott Jeffrey really just kind of blew the tires off. He's got a lot, which means he got a lot, way too much tire spin basically through first and second gear. Slowed him down. They're going to try to make the adjustments, and they're going to have to hit it right if they're going to want to get around Kurt Johnson.
Better get in there. Big advantage off the line, KJ. And air to spare. 6.82 seconds, 202 miles an hour to a 688 for Scott Jeffrey on. Dave Reef.
Well, the body of the car says it all. Couldn't have said it any better. That, of course, is a reference to Meatloaf and a brand new album you've got coming out. International rock star, superstar, you name it.
I couldn't have said it better. Dean is driving, let me coin another phrase, like a bat out of hell, baby.
Gee, haven't heard that one.
No, man.
How you liking it here, Meat? It's pretty cool?
It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. The whole thing is unbelievable. I mean, the cars are unbelievable. But if you go back over in there and the pit after the race, it's a whole show just watching the crew because they take that car completely apart. I mean, it's like unbelievable. It's like watching a rock show, and we're in the way of the camera.
Imagine. Hey, you're pretty used to moving around, though.
Yeah. No, but it's fantastic. Car looks great. He's driving great. You know what? We're in the semifinals. Could it get any better than this?
I couldn't have said it any better.
It can only get one round better. You get to go to the final as the work continues back at Larry Dixon's camp as they're getting ready for the next round of competition. And all that going on while back out trackside, young 20-year-old Dave Conley is going to try and make his first ever semifinal appearance. The only thing he has to do is take out the defending and 2-time Powerade champion, Jake Coughlin.
And arguably the best driver in the business, but Dave Conley's got a lot of composure. He's done a real good job up to this point. I'm very impressed with him at his age.
Oh, 3 100s for Jake. Say goodnight, Dave. 682 at 202 beats a 684 for Dave Conley. And Jeg will have lane choice over Alan Johnson in the semifinals.
Well, this was a nice run for Jake Coughlin. Watch on board here. Not much movement in that steering wheel. I think they set the combination just right. Hitting all them shift points like Jeggy does so well to get down there and run a 682 in the heat of the day. I think they'll be very happy with that.
And let's go to the far end for the AJ and KJ show, Bill.
Yeah, we got the Johnson family down here, separated at birth. Alan Johnson, you will not have lane choice against Jeggy, and I guess it's a little hip checking out there, huh?
Yeah, the car went a little left off the starting line. It's a little loose down track. I was just talking to Kurt. His car's the same way. When you run behind the clutch dust, it gets a little iffy down track. But we got this Dodge tuned up, and we're going to go the next round and see what we can do with old Jiggy.
We don't know who you'll have yet, but will lane choice be a factor, Kurt?
I don't know. We went down the right this morning. We went down the left, that run right there. Track's getting a little hot out there, and Cavalier want to shake just a little bit going into second. It's real loose in fourth and fifth. Wants to move around. We may have to move the wing up just a little bit.
Remember, Kurt's goose was almost cooked in qualifying this weekend.
And, of course, Kurt watching this round because he will match up against the winner, and Greg Anderson has to be favored. I mean, he's only been to like 10 semis this season, and Gene's just won his first round of competition today in first round action here.
But Gene's awfully excited to be here, and he's an excellent driver. He's very, very focused on what he does, but he's going to need to be to get around Greg.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, closest to you, against the points leader. for Anderson. Never in doubt. He goes low for the round again. 679. Bob Glidden says, how do you beat that? 203 miles an hour. He's got top mile an hour again for the round. This car is deadly. Take a look at the semifinal matchups, and boy, it's going to be a big one. Numbers 1 and 2 in the points, and the points leader has lane choice. Over in the other matchup, it's number 4 in the points against Alan Johnson, and lane choice goes to Jake Coughlin. When we come back, it'll be Pro Stock Bikes here at Infineon Raceway at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. Just as we come back here to Infineon Raceway, it's GT Tonglin in the right lane. Michael Phillips in the left. Who's going to get the win? 7:24 for Michael Phillips, and the Harley is out of here in second round competition as a 009 light for Michael Phillips beats the 043 light of GT Tonglin, and then he puts down a very nice run. Take another look.
Yeah, Michael Phillips got almost 400 of a second off the starting line. I think it was pretty much over there by then, because the Harley, even though he had lane choice, took the right-hand lane. See if we can tell what happened. I mean, the Harley was right down the middle of the lane, but just couldn't make it up. Michael Phillips got the launch off the starting line. His bike ran good, and he got the win.
And here's the Pro Stock Bike ladder. Arrow indicates it'll be Treble and Scally on the left side. And we've already seen the first matchup where Phillips did not have lane choice, but advanced, and Andrew Hines has the lane choice in the other one. You're looking at Craig Treble, and that's Karen Stouffer. Treble, of course, the defending event winner. And that was the last time he won on tour here on the NHRA Powerade circuit. Red light for Karen. So that's our 7th red light. We had 6 in the first round, and boy, Treble runs a nice 7:16 at 185. Her second red light loss this year. Let's put a period on Pro Stock. Let's go back to Bill.
Yeah, we talked to these two characters after the first round, Greg Anderson and Jake Coughlin, and you've got Alan Johnson, who's probably going to press the Christmas tree against you in the semis.
I would think nothing less, that's for sure, and we'll be right there with him. But the second round duel was a tough one. Mike Zarilla and the whole Bullet team's been doing a great job with Grumpy in that group. But hats off to the Jakes team. We're regrouping real well, and we're looking to be a force still.
And you, of course, know who you've got in the semis.
What's his name again?
Kurt
Johnson. That's right. What do you need to say? It's going to be a heck of a battle. I can't wait. This is what it's all about. This is what you got to do to win a championship. You got to go out and get it.
That's it, man. You got to beat the guys you got to beat to win a title.
And here's where Antron Brown can help his teammate, because Angel Savoy second in the points by 128. And over in that other lane is Gino Scali, the points leader. And Antron, you better believe, wants this win.
Could be awfully tough. Gino ran that 7:07 the previous round. Thing got to watch on these Pro Stock bikes. They want a red light quite easily, and Gino's red light a few times this year already.
Antron with 3 100s off the line. Oh, and then loses fire. 7:17, 184. Angel looks away, knowing that she has just lost another 20 points. It's now 148 from first to second place.
Yeah, I mean, Antron had to jump about 300ths of a second off the starting line. Probably lost a transmission. They have a tendency to miss shift down here. They push the button. It either just doesn't go in gear or comes out of gear when they go to make that shift. Probably that's what the case was here. You see him moving down through the middle of the course. Not too bad. And right there had a problem. That basically allowed Gino Scali to get by for the win.
And look at Angel's reaction. Says it all. And now we come to our final matchup here. Andrew Hines checking his alignment. Blaine Hale over in the left lane. Hale has been living large. He's now gone 5 straight rounds, including the last time that he won at Denver. And here he's got Andrew Hines on the only remaining V-Rod.
And he's doing that from the 16th qualifying position in Denver and 15th qualifying position here. Gotta watch out for this kid.
Look, what happened here? Did we have a problem with the tree again? And again, it's Blaine Hale. He's taking the gloves off. Andrew goes 7:21 at 183, and Rick Stewart is looking around. Now, our cameras didn't show it. I don't know whether he activated the tree or not.
Well, I didn't see it, Marty. I don't know if he staged and then pulled back and the tree activated and he got the red light. Because remember, that stage light on the bottom is what activates the reaction time actually stops the tree and activates the elapsed time clock. So you got to remember.
I think you're right. I think he may have rolled the beam. He had a putt, because he's not arguing with Rick Stewart. I mean, if he thought he was getting cheated out of something, you better believe it. As a competitor, he'd be up there stomping his feet. Now, here we go with another angle. Let's see. Andrew's in.
Watch over here. This is where you're going to see. Let's see if he goes in and then backs out. Or nope, he just.
Yeah, he just had a problem. Never put it in. So Blaine Hale is out of here. So the streak has ended. There will not be another 2-week-long party. Take one more look.
Yeah, you see him look down right there. Just had a problem, and then the 7-second rule came in. If you're not staged within 7 seconds, the tree gets activated.
Let's check in with Bill.
Well, while things are all scrambled at the starting line, at the top end, this much is true, Gino Scali. You'll have Craig Treble in the semis.
Yeah, Treble's a good competitor. You know, it's going to be fun. There was a lot of, bike guys that we hassle each other and have fun, make it fun. But I got to thank my, sponsors, Trimtex. They're doing an awesome job. The guys at the shop's working so hard around the clock, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the crew working so hard that we're finally getting our 60-foot back, and we got the power from Vance and Hines, and I appreciate that too. So thanks, guys.
Craig Treble's got the points leader in the semis, but your timing's pretty good. This is the best weekend you've had all year.
Yeah, that's for sure. We've really needed this year. We went testing up in Woodburn. We spent some time down at Vance and Hines, just try to tune up our program a little bit. We've been behind the 8 ball all year long, and Gino talks about how much fun we have, but you know what? I don't like racing that dude. He's leading the points right now. He's been hauling butt all year long. It's going to be a good race. We're going to give him our best shot.
Clash of the Titans.
All right, let's take a look at the semifinal matchups. There is Craig's numbers by 1/100th, the lane choice over Gino Scali, and Andrew Hines over Michael Phillips. Dave Reef is caught up with Blaine Hale.
And you have to excuse us if the comp cars drown us out for just 1 minute, but Blaine Hale, you can see the disgust on his face. What happened, Blaine?
Some kind of way the fuel valve malfunctioned, and basically the carburetor ran out of gas.
Simple as that, guys. Tough break. Down to Bill.
Back here with Andrew Hines, see if we can get a clarification on exactly what. I mean, it's been a weird day at the starting line for the bikes. What happened with you?
I was just sitting up there in the stage beams, and I was waiting for Blaine to stage over there. And next thing I know, the tree's flashing at me, so I just left, and hopefully I did what I was supposed to and came down there, and I guess I won a 21. It's good for the Screaming Eagle Harley-Davidson team.
Yeah, let's go to Dave. Parker, rather.
Well, Bill, down at Cruz Pedregon's pits, you can see Cruz is cool, calm, and collected. His job took 5 seconds, was over about a half an hour ago. That is not the case for his crew. Crewman Jason Rush putting the pressure plate now on the back of the clutch. You can see the engine is going back together. They're starting still having to pull the cylinder liners out to inspect them. You can see that their rockers or the lifters are going in. The bottom has been completed by crewman Max Savage. He's got the crank in. He's inspected all the bearings. We had another crewman working back on the supercharger, crewman Wes Parker. He made sure that the rotors were at their proper clearances. The fuel has been done and is being checked by NHRA at this point to make sure that it's legal. Still a lot of work to be done here, but one of the interesting things I did come across is this intake manifold. They always have a burst panel. In case of an explosion, it directs that energy. This one's hooded to take that energy down and away from the bodywork and the rest of the engine components.
Interesting design feature. Wonder how many of the other teams may pick that up after they see this. If it works, hey, it'll get adapted to everybody's. We've narrowed the top fuel field to 4 cars here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. One of them is that man right there, Kenny Bernstein. And as we get ready for this top fuel semifinal, who will it be that will be advancing on to the final round? Will it be David Baca making it to his first ever final? The Budweiser King. How about Larry Dixon going again and Rhonda Hartman-Smith at her sponsor's title event? Well, first up, David Baca will try to take the American racing wheel, top fueler, and dump Kenny Bernstein royally on the trailer.
Well, I tell you, David Baca's really excited to be here. We can tell in his interviews. But I'll tell you what, Kenny Bernstein's also very excited to be here. And that car's been running very good, very, very consistently. It's just that I don't think if Kenny wins, you're probably not going to see him breakdancing at the other end of the track like you will David if he gets by this round.
Let's check on the weather conditions for Parker.
Well, Marty, we haven't seen a big change since first round, but the track temp has gone up. It's 121 degrees, just about 80 degrees outside, but the density altitude has gone up to 1,837 feet, and all these fuel teams are spinning their blowers now compared to earlier in the day, just a little faster.
All right, he said spin the blowers a little faster.
What they do is they speed the supercharger up to run a little bit faster to force more air, and just because the atmosphere has changed, they're trying to keep that boost regulated about 40 to 45 pounds all the time to adjust for those atmospheric conditions so they can make a consistent amount of horsepower from run to run.
Tim Richards. He cannot believe it. 4.65 seconds to a 4.68. The margin of victory, 11/1000th of a second. Dave Reef.
Johnny West is taking his driver David Baca to a final at his home racetrack.
Well, you know, David puts up with a lot of my crap throughout the whole week, and this is the only way that I can really pay him back. He's been a super guy to me all year. Finally, now I can produce for him.
Great to see.
While you're watching or talking to him, Dave, we're watching Baca tap dancing at the far end. He can't wait to get out of that helmet. Here's the incrementals.
This was just a great side-by-side drag race. Kenny had a slight advantage off the starting line, about 14,000ths of a second, which was still ahead at 60 foot, but Baca had the numbers even early in the run, was able to get by on the other end. Just Johnny West had a great tune-up, even with the cylinder out the finish line, to run that 4.65 and get the win.
Bill?
Well, your first career final round, and I know you're a lot of things, but speechless ain't one of them.
Boy, howdy. I evened a lot of scores today. I went from 8th to maybe going on to 5th in my hometown. Golly gee, I tell you what, I want to thank you, Bill. It's been a long time, but you know what? I said I work hard for things. Things don't come easy for me, but it's not for lack of trying. I want to thank Waterloo, American Racing, Allstate Contract Floors, all the major builders in Northern California. Thank you. God bless St. Jude.
Remember, he was a second-generation racer. His dad, Dennis, raced here in the West Coast for many years.
And there is Rhonda's daughter, Megan, as Mommy's getting ready to take care of business and hopefully, at her title sponsors event, punch out the points leader, Larry Dixon. Rhonda's burnout is complete. Larry will be over in the right lane. Rhonda's seventh chance to go to her first Top Fuel final, and we talk about the Western swing. It's only been done by those three guys, Joe Amato, Corey McClenathan, John Force, and Larry Dixon looks to be the fourth member of that club. Parker?
Well, Marty, I've been following Larry Dixon and his crew back in the pits and the staging lanes. They operated with their usual calm and coolness. I asked both Donnie Bender and Dick LaHaye if they had made any changes. They, too, had sped up the blower for this round. Other than that, they haven't changed a thing. They expect the car to run a 459 to 460. But interestingly enough, one of the things that has changed is the wind. The wind is now blowing 10 to 15 miles an hour straight down the track from the finish line right to the start line.
Talk to John Smith right now. Rhonda getting ready to go to battle. Ask him what the plan was for this team. He says, just like everybody else, they're going to try not to just hand one over to Dick LaHaye and Larry Dixon. They think a mid to low 460 pass might get the job done. But again, guys, it comes back. Dixon making a mistake.
But it hasn't happened much. Remember, this is round 15. Dixon's already been in 10 finals this year.
Well, and even if they do run a mid to low 460, that'd be the best run of the week. And they ran a 466 in qualifying, which was good. But I'll tell you what, Larry Dixon's just been on a rail between a 458, 459, 460 if you go back into qualifying when he ran that first session.
No contest. 4.59 seconds, 321 miles an hour, and Dixon is going to his 11th final, his 58th in his career, and unreal. This is another one of those tracks. There's only 3 left where he's never won. He may narrow that to 2. Parker?
Mr. LaHaye, you told me a 459. Down there on the board it says 459. How do you do that?
I guess it's just, you know, when you've got the data and you can read it, and it tells, the car tells you what it wants, and we look back and say, well, gosh, you know, it ran a 59 or it ran a 60 flat. And we just adjust it like that and look at the racetrack and say, let's go see what happens. And lo and behold, it puts it up there.
Just like all greats in professional sport, he makes it look easy.
And he's got the lane choice in the finals. It'll be Larry Dixon over David Baca. We've got to take a commercial break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the semifinals in Funny Car here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. Along with Mike Dunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reed, Parker Johnston. I'm Marty Reed here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals. We're getting ready for Funny Car, but let's put a period on Top Fuel. Larry Dixon is with Bill.
Larry, you and your crew chief are Mondo Biondo. 459, just the way he called it.
You know, yeah, a lot of credit. All the credit goes to Dick LaHaye, everybody on the Miller Lite team. They're doing their job. I'm just trying to go up there, leave on the green, and not hit any cones or anything. It's just it's a great ride. Snake, he told me, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, it's like you need to enjoy the moment and take advantage of it while you can, because you never know, it might not ever come around. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
Nobody else is enjoying it except them.
In Top Fuel, that's for sure. In Funny Car, who's going to the finals? John Force, Gary Selzy, or will it be Dean Scusa or Cruz Pedregon? Well, we're about to find out because the motors have turned, and you can see that the Advanced Auto Parts car is coming out. As is that car. Meatloaf on the side, Dean Scusa at the wheel.
Dean Scusa and Brian Karate, the crew chief, have been doing a really good job on that race car. The car's been consistent and running very good numbers.
Cruz looking for his second final on the Western Swing. Let's get more from Dave Reef.
Yeah, but one thing Brian Karate felt after their 5-0 pass from the second round today is that they maybe left a little bit on the table. Of course, they were over in the right lane, so they're going to try to step it up just a little bit as they move over into the left lane, which might be a little more tricky for most teams, but they did remind me, too, that they did run a 493 in this lane in about these conditions yesterday afternoon, so that's what they're looking for here.
The body work up on Dean Scusa's car. Cruz making his way back to the starting line. This is a rematch of the semifinals at Denver, and Scusa's going to remember this one because he fouled out on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely going to remember that, and he's been a little bit cautious on his reaction time. He's been 0-90s on both of his rounds, which is a little bit slower than what he normally is when he's on his game, but he's been off his game a little bit. He's red lit at the last two races, so he's being a little bit cautious. He may try to push it a little bit here against Cruz, but he's got a good car. He doesn't want to push it too much and make a mistake, obviously.
Oh, a great race. A puff of smoke at the far end. Meatloaf says, yeah, my car's going to the final. A 497 at 304. Dave, grab a hold of him before he goes skyward.
Hey, show a little excitement, Mr. Loaf.
Yes!
He's pretty pumped up about this. Not bad for a guy who was supposed to show up, hang out for about, 60, 70 minutes and then take off. You're addicted to this stuff now.
Oh, man. Yes, man. In the finals. Yes.
Could you have pictured it any other way today, though?
No, baby, no, man. We got superstitions going everywhere. Kissing this, crossing this way, sitting here, walking at this table, making sure we do that, do this. I've got my socks on backwards now and everything.
Wonder where he'll be for the final. I bet it's in the same spot.
Hey, Dave, let him know the last time Scusa went to a final was Gainesville, 2001.
What a great job for this team. I mean, Dean Scusa just right down the middle of the racetrack, kept her stuck in the groove, moved over a little bit to the wall towards the finish line, but by then they had good momentum. The car just straight and narrow right down the racetrack. Very consistent race car today. Brian Karate and the rest of the team, be proud of what they've done. A 496 in the first round, a 501, and this 497 right here, an excellent pass in the heat of the day.
And the reaction by Meatloaf. he may be hooked for life. We may be seeing him in a lot of drag races. And I guarantee you Scusa's going to want him there because he's a good luck charm. Talking about guys who are living a charmed life right now, John Force looking to go to his 5th consecutive final in Funny Car. And he'll have to get past Gary Selzy to do it. Between the two of them, they've got 15 championships. John's 12 in Funny Car, Gary's 3 in Top Fuel. And as he does the burnout, we'll send it to Bill at the top end.
Well, a lot of Dean Scusa's fans know that he's an accomplished rock drummer. This is a match made in heaven. You're going to the final round with Meatloaf on your car.
It is. He was supposed to leave at 2, because he's a busy man, as we all know. He's got a big schedule, but so do we. And he says, I ain't going no damn where as long as this car's going around. It's running great. Brian Crotty, my crew chief, I mean, he's nervous because he's new, but I mean, he should be the most confident guy here. He's got the thing dialed in. Cornwall Tools, those distributors have been behind me like all year and for the past 3 years. Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Let's see who you got.
And now Gary Scelzi. You know, Scelzi beat John in round 1 back at Gainesville. And then John returned the favor at St. Louis in a round 1 matchup. And there is the Force family looking on.
Gary Scelzi, he's really looked good this race. That car has just been, you know, basically a bracket car going down the racetrack every round. We saw John Force smoke the tires around before, but I can guarantee you that Mike Neff and Gary Scelzi are not taking John Force lightly. You can't. The guy's won 12 championships, but they got to be confident because they have a very good car. Gary Scelzi, one of the best drivers in the business. You don't win 3 Top Fuel championships by being a slouch. He's very good.
Scelzi is going to the final. A 495 at 308 and a 502 for John Force. Parker.
I'm with tuner Mike Neff. Mike, it's like you guys just won the world championship. A little bit of redemption there.
Yeah, we needed that. I mean, we got a good car this weekend. We had one last weekend, and I tell you, it really feels good. You know, I'm happy for my guys that have been working so hard, Gary, and we really need a shot in the arm here.
Dave?
Don Schumacher, your crew chief Mike Neff just mentioned you guys need a shot in the arm. It looks like you're getting it today.
We sure are. I mean, Mike's doing a great job. Gary's out there doing a phenomenal job. We're here for Oakley, Masco Tools, the U.S. Army. All of my teams are out here together fighting this one out today. We're going to go out and try to win a drag race.
Gary Scelzi's second funny car final, the 40th of his career, and he will have lane choice by 2/100ths of a second over Dean Scusa. Let's go to the far end.
Gary Scelzi, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my opinion, that may have been the biggest round since you've been in a funny car.
Well, I'm not going to correct you if I'm wrong if I get my hat out of my head. Hey. You know what? You got to put yourself in an opportunity to win, and Mike Neff has worked his heart out on this Oakley Dodge, and I'm going to tell you, the guys at Dodge with the wind tunnel and everything, but this is a big moment for all of us, and you know, the race isn't won yet, but taking out John and taking out Bays and all these guys, this class doesn't lead you many windows of opportunity. We got one right now. We don't want to waste it, so let's hope it happens.
And Gary has moved into the top 10 in points, into that number 10 spot. And the top 10 get on the stage at the end of the year. Stay with us. Pro Stock when we come back.
Welcome back to Sonoma, the Fram-Autolite Nationals. The semifinals of funny car just wrapped up with John Force going down to Gary Scelzi. You won't get the sweep, John Force, but you're going to come out of the sweep a whole lot better than you went in.
Well, sweep's gravy, but that Gary Scelzi group and that old Hudson they got over there with Oakley, and they've worked real hard this year, and their old car ran. We made a miscalled maybe on the lane. You don't know, but hell, right ahead of us they ran good. But good bunch of guys, just rooting for all of them to be safe. And Scusa will give them some good race in the finals. But Petragon's still out there safe. I'm out there moving up, and Bays, he's just in Never Land right now. Don't know which way to go, but he'll figure that out because he's a good racer. And we're just excited for Ford Mac MB&A that I got a race car that helps older guys feel young again. Older cars, but it's okay.
Thanks, John. Time for the Pro Stock semifinals. Greg Anderson and Kurt Johnson going to go head-to-head, as are Jeg Coughlin and Alan Johnson. In fact, that's going to be our first matchup here on the track. Fourth time this year that these two have locked horns. Jeg beat Alan at Phoenix and at Gainesville. Alan returned the favor at Columbus.
Two of the best levers in the business on the starting line right now. They've both had great reaction times in the first 2 rounds. Very, very closely, evenly matched in that department. Let's see what happens here.
Advantage Coughlin. The win light Coughlin, 682 at 202, and Jeg is going to his second final in 3 races. He was first off the line and first to the stripe.
Yeah, hundredth of a second advantage off the starting line. Not much movement on that steering wheel, hitting that gear shift all the way down. Got the one pumping the fist because he knows he's got it. There it is, 200ths of a second right there at the finish line. That's the difference.
Jag's fourth final of the year, his 46th of his career. And who's he going to face? Points leader Greg Anderson right there in the left lane, or the man who's number 2 in the points, Kurt Johnson. These guys have got a lot of history here in 2003. Greg, KJ won the first one in a matchup back at Gainesville. And then 4 straight by Greg Anderson. Dave Reef?
Marty, I know you're not going to believe this, but I had a chance to talk with both Greg Anderson and Jason Line, one of his crew guys, about how they've approached their day. And believe it or not, they actually said they've been kind of conservative in the first couple of rounds, and they're going to continue with that conservative approach because, after all, the sun is starting to fade to the west now. Track conditions are coming back to this team, so as good as they've been, it's tough to believe they might be getting a little bit better here.
You know, one of the things, too, he had an 0.05 reaction time. In the past, Gray's worried about that because it's a little bit too close to red light. And he's kind of slowed the clutch lane gets down to slow that reaction time down. And it's kind of messed him up in the past, but I don't think it will this time. He's been doing a great job.
Oh, perfect light by KJ. And it's still not enough. 679, 203. Beats a 683 and a perfect light, and it's the 47th perfect light ever cut in pro competition. And Kurt, what else can he do?
I mean, he had a perfect light, but he only had 14,000 advantage. I mean, Greg Anderson was right there nailing the tree, too. But like you said, what can you do with that horsepower that they're producing out of Greg Anderson's car? I mean, it's just basically you get that jump and you don't hang on for very long and watch the car go by at the other end. There's a margin of victory, 26 thousandths of a second, just a little more than half a car.
And the points lead now goes up to 139 as Greg goes to his 8th final this year, the 20th of his career, and he's got lane choice over Jake Coughlin. Time now for Pro Stock Bikes, and you got Craig Treble and Gino Scali squaring off. In the other matchup, it'll be Andrew Hines and Michael Phillips. As we get right down on the starting line, that's the one we're going to see first. There is Michael Phillips, and Andrew Hines will be over in the left lane. Both of them, 002 off the line. Who's going to be at the stripe? It is Andrew Hines, 7:24. Meredith Schultz says, yes, we're going to the finals. 182 miles an hour, Dave Reef.
Down in the water box where Craig Treble is starting to warm up his Iron Eagle Suzuki, but I'm standing next to one of the most glorified Pro Stock bike riders of all time, Terry Vance, very much a part of this Screaming Eagle. Vance and Hines team, you got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I really do, David. When we get to the final like this, it's a big deal, but you know, Harley never winning one of these races. I think the anticipation of it happening, everybody here, including us, is really excited about it happening. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins this round right here, who we end up facing.
There is something special in the air today, though.
Andrew going to his first ever Pro Stock Bike final, and hopefully the Harley fans are saying, giving them their first ever win. Craig Treble, he won this event last year here. He's in the left lane. The points leader, Gino Scali, can really open the margin up over Angel Savoy and the rest of the field if he can win here and the final.
Great matchup here. Two bikes that are very evenly matched. 7:16 the previous round by Treble, 7:17 for Gino.
As something happens to Treble at mid-track, a 7:16 is going to be good enough for lane choice for the points leader, Gino Scali, and now his margin jumps up to 168 with still one more round of racing to go. Take a look at the matchup, and you'll see just the matter of the difference in the ETs. 7:16 beats a 7:24 in anybody's book here in Pro Stock Bikes. Stay with us. We're coming back. Here at the Fram-Autolite Nationals, it's round 15 of the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series, and it is time for the finals. Will it be David Baca or Larry Dixon in Top Fuel? Dean Scusa playing the tune for Meatloaf for Gary Selzy getting his first funny car win. How about Jake Coughlin or Greg Anderson, 3-1 in the points? And Andrew Hines trying to give Harley its first ever win. And Gino Scali, the points leader, trying to put it out of reach. And take a look at Scali's road to the final, and you can see just how good he has been this year. This will be, well, his third victory this year if he can get it. Fourth of his career for Andrew Hines. To give you an idea, Harley has never won in Pro Stock Bike. There have been 219 Pro Stock Bike events. Here we go. Oh, Hines drifts to the center line, and Scali 7:17 at 189 miles an hour. Andrew goes 7:26 at 180. Parker?
Well, he studied with Pro Stock Bike legend Paul Gass, Earl DeGlopper. Congratulations. This new team looks like it's taking the championship by hold of the throat here.
Well, I don't know about that. There's a lot of good teams out here, and you can't underestimate anybody. The Harleys are going to run great. I got to thank Vance and Hines for the great power, PMFR for the great chassis. John, what a great job. Byron Hines, I can't say enough. Fast by Gas, everybody's been helping. Gino can ride the wheels off this thing. It's great. It's great.
Congratulations.
Hi, Joey came back home. He couldn't make the trip. Hi, we love you guys back in Chicago.
Take another look at the run. I mean, Andrew was right with him right there, Mike.
Well, I tell you, he was early, and then, like you said, he started drifting toward the center. Gino Scali, on the other hand, right down the middle of that lane. Little bobble there over that bump, but nice, clean pass. Good win for that team.
And Gino Scali now leads Angel Savoy by 188 points, Bill. There are the points right there as you get a chance to talk to him, Bill.
A lot of people back in the greater Chicago, Illinois area glad they stayed around till the end. What a day, Gino.
Oh, it's a day that it's almost unbelievable because, you know, the points, second in points, third in points go out the first round. You know, I got to give thanks to, you know, Powerade and NHRA for putting on a good show. This is fun out here. I'm starting to really enjoy this. The week off I had, I finally learned to relax a little bit and enjoy this. And, of course, Trim Techs and Craftsman Tools, you're the best.
You may be looking at a champion to be. Dave Reed.
For Andrew Hines, that day still coming for Harley-Davidson's first win. It looked like the bike maybe got a little bit out of the groove.
Yeah, we swapped wheels off bikes. We took the wheel off GT's bike and put it on mine, and I don't know if it made it go crooked, but it was just driving hard left towards the end of the track, and I couldn't bring it back, and I saw Gino running out there on me, and I was like, all right, at least it's a Vance and Hines motor that won this race.
That's one good way of looking at it. We get ready for Pro Stock. You're looking at Greg Anderson. Boy, he can, with a win, take the lead in the points by 159. But he's got to get past Jake Coughlin, the defending Powerade champion. These guys have been in the finals 4 previous times. Jag has won 3 of those. But I don't know. I think you got to give the edge to Greg Anderson. He has been just quicker and faster every round and every session of qualifying, Mike.
And his driving's been very good. We talked about the last round when he had that 005 in the second round. In the past, he would have probably overcompensated for that. He is so calm, so cool and collective in this car. He just went out there and hit his 014 light. He's been very, very good. And boy, with that horsepower, he's going to be tough to beat. But if anybody can do it, Jed Coughlin's a guy that can.
Both cars pre-staged. Big advantage, Coughlin, 6/100ths. But the win light to Coughlin in a huge hole shot. Jake gets his...
It down here on the big end. It just kept sneaking right, but we were able to pull this thing off, man. Hell of a job, guys. Something to be proud of, man.
683 is enough to do it, Parker.
I'm with co-crew chief Roy Simmons. Your man did it on the line when it's obvious to us here. He just took down the biggest and baddest. Well done.
Yes, he did. They're a very tough team over there. It's an honor to be in the final against them, but we've got a great driver in Jaggy. We've got a great company to work for, and they give me a great opportunity to work on it, and I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeg picks up his first win of the year, 32nd of his career, and there is the margin.
Boy, that's a big surprise. Greg Anderson's just been flawless all day long, but obviously in the final, something got to him. He definitely was late. Jeg Coughlin had 500th of a second advantage off of the starting line, and that's all he needed. You can't give up that much in pro stock, even when you got the horsepower of Greg Anderson, because this is just too close. On board with Jeg. You see him move the wheel a little bit early in the run. We heard him say moving down on the other end. So he got a little bit, moving just a little bit forward, but boy, he did a great job. That fist pump, he was happy.
Notice Jeg Coughlin with the win moves into third place ahead of Warren Johnson in the points, and it's only 139 between Greg and Kurt. Let's go to the far end, Bill.
Jeg Coughlin Jr., we know how good that driver over there is and how quick that car is, but when you have almost 600ths of a second advantage on somebody, they're not going to beat you.
Well, you certainly hope not. When you got a group like Team Jegs behind you, led by my pop and Roy Simmons and Clint and Rick, Woody, the whole gang, Tim just did an excellent job this weekend. And, we're behind the gun a little bit, been struggling a little bit. And, to get our first win here in Sonoma, this is the last track in Common Day that we needed to win on, and this just feels outstanding. Greg's program obviously has just been shot by steroids over the last year or so, and for Team Jegs to bring home this win, Karen and Jeggy, man, thanks for sticking with me and giving me that fire under my belly to get me out here and win.
Greg Anderson, history repeats itself. Dave Reef.
For Greg's second year in a row, you had this thing lost on a hole shot, doggone it.
I don't know what it is with this place, and I honestly did not think I was late. I don't know what it is. In the final up in Seattle last weekend, somehow I was late, and the preparation was the same. Felt great. I don't know what happened. It just wasn't meant to be, I guess, but he did a great job. It was a heck of a close race, but you can't let a guy like that get a whole shot like that. You're not going to beat him, no matter how fast you run. So we'll get him next week.
And as we turn our attention back to the starting line, it is time for the Funny Car Final. And for the first time in 5 races, John Force isn't in it. Gary Scelzi looking for his first ever Funny Car win. Dean Scusa over in the left lane trying to take Meatloaf to the winner's circle in his very first effort.
Yeah, boy, paradise for Dean Scusa to be by the scoreboard win light right there. I'll tell you, he wants to win this really bad. Meatloaf is excited, obviously. Dean Scusa, Brian Crotty's been doing a very good job keeping that car consistent, not smoking the tires. It's what they got to do. Gary Scelzi, I mean, that car's been flawless this weekend. Just going down the track on every single run, running good numbers. This is going to be a great matchup.
There you see the elapsed times. Scusa's last Funny Car win, Maple Grove, back in 1998. Let's get more on Scelzi from Dave Reed.
Marty, I don't know if this is a foreshadowing of things to come, but I did find it ironic that down in the Scelzi hospitality area, what do you suppose they were having for their afternoon meal? Take a guess.
Meatloaf?
You nailed it. See what happens.
Oh, poor Meatloaf. There he is. He's nervous. I think he's more nervous than Dean right now. He's really gotten into this today. Sun beginning to set. You can see the shadows. Any factor here? Have you noticed that in the past?
Just makes the track a little bit better.
No problem for vision, though. Here we go. Funny Car Final. At the stripe, Scelzi in a great drag race. 495, 312 miles an hour. Scusa right there, 496 at 306, and look at the celebration. Parker?
Crew Chief Mike Neff, your first Funny Car victory. Gary Scelzi's first Funny Car victory. Vindication indeed.
Oh man, I'll tell you, this is a great day for all of us, and I gotta thank my wife for being a trooper and taking care of our family while I'm out here acting like a kid. I'm just happy for Oakley, Gary, and all my guys that have worked so hard. This has been a day I'll never forget.
Great job.
Don Schumacher, you've got your whole army out here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. What a great job by this Oakley team. I mean, Gary Scelzi, Mike Neff, the whole crew. I mean, they just did a fantastic job. They've had a great race car here for a number of races. It finally came around for them. We got a win for them. That's the best thing in the world for Oakley, Chip Gennard, everybody out here. So it's a great day for Schumacher Racing.
When you've got the biggest team in the NHRA, they fill the start line.
As you take another look, Gary Scelzi has just made history. He is the only driver ever to win in Top Fuel, Funny Car, Top Alcohol Dragster, and Top Alcohol Funny Car, the 4 fastest classes.
And Gary Scelzi definitely knows how to win races. 200ths advantage off the starting line, carried that to the end. About 300ths of a second advantage at the finish line. And look at the crew. What a great win.
Take a look at the points chase now, and you will notice that in the championship battle, Tony Pedregon leads over Whit Bazemore's down to 44, 199 over John Force, and Scelzi has moved into 8th place, up 3 spots this weekend. And as he takes the helmet off, let's take a look at Gary as he climbed out of the car before we send it down to Bill. And I have a feeling there's going to be a flip here. Yeah, you got to give Gary his flip opportunity. Bill?
Gary Scelzi, I think it was just a little more than a year ago that you and I were talking about the fact that there were some people who didn't think you could drive one of those.
You know what? I've been through a lot, let me tell you, over the last 2 years. And there's been people that believe in me. And let me tell you, my team, Mike Neff, everybody from Oakley, all the guys in the team, Mike is a motivator. He worked for Joe Gibbs, and he has talks every night, you know, and tells us the guys did good or we need to pick it up somewhere. And I believe in Mike because he believes in me like nobody else. And let me tell you, Oakley got their first national event win. I got mine. Mike got his as a crew chief. Matt Cotule's Gates Belts, Army, Lucas Oil. And like I said before, you guys at Oakley, you guys deserve this. Scotty Cannon, Lee Beard, Dan Olson, Alan Johnson. It's a team. It's work. And let me tell you, I am one happy little Italian right now. Love you, Mom.
Go, Dave.
Dino, you finally saw a car. Not the right time, though.
You're right. It was the first time all weekend we saw it in the car. But that's a good drag race for the fans. You know, I'm disappointed. Mevo, I wanted that win for him so bad. And, of course, Cornwell and Redline. But especially him. I mean, he's here. He's taking time out of his busy schedule. But, hey, we're in the right direction. Thank God, you know.
As we go back to the starting line to get ready for our final race of the day, can Larry Dixon join this elite group? Only 3 have ever swept the Western Swing, and those are the 3 right there. John Force lost his opportunity in the semifinals to become the first ever to double. And what do you think? He's got to be given the advantage on paper.
Oh, he's definitely got the advantage on paper. I mean, this car has been consistent. It's been a consistent rocket ship. 459, 460. I mean, this thing's been incredibly consistent and fast. David Bach, on the other hand, I mean, he is pumped. He wants this win. Johnny West can give him a decent tune-up. I mean, this car's capable of running the 450s, but they haven't done it here this weekend. I think, you know, Johnny's going to try to step it up a little bit from the previous round where he ran the 465. Hopefully they can, you know, catch Dicko and LaHaye maybe making a little bit of a mistake, slow down and get the win. But it's going to be awfully tough to beat this car right here.
David's dad, Dennis, won Indy in 1977 in a final over Graham Light, of all people. He's now the Vice President of Operations for NHRA. Can he knock off Dixon? Final race of the day. Just too much, Larry Dixon. 4.64 seconds at 319 miles an hour. His 8th win of the year, 33rd of his career, Parker.
With Dick LaHaye, you've done it again. You've swept the Western Swing. I don't know what to say. It's with robotic precision this car goes down the track to make it look easy.
Well, you got to remember this, that I get all the credit, but it's the guys that work on it. I mean, it really is. It's Donnie Bender and the whole entire crew. They do the same thing every time. They're methodical about how they do it. The snake lets me have the money to do whatever I want to do, and Miller Brewery supplies it all. So what can I say other than the fact, thank God.
Well, they have one of the best teachers in the history of the sport, guys.
They certainly do, and he has earned his stripes. Take a look at the points. Wow, with 8 races left, Dixon now has a stranglehold. 310 back to Doug Polita. David Baca cracks up to the top 6. He moves up 2 spots with today's final round appearance. Bill?
Larry Dixon, we're not even going to talk about the championship race. You just enjoy this moment, sweeping the Western Swing.
I've never won 3 races in a row. You know, I had trouble winning 3 races in a season. Miller Lite, Mac Tools, Skoll, Lucas Oil, everybody did a great job. Dick LaHaye, he's the master, and I'm just thrilled to have him as my guy. And everybody on the team did a great job, and I'm just, you know, we won these 2 with Snake at home and taking care of Lynn and Donna, and that's enough, man. I'm just happy.
That says it all.
And as he hoists another trophy, he's now got a passel of them, and we'll wrap things up here at Sonoma when we come back to Infineon Raceway. And we're running out of time, so let's quickly go to Dave Reef.
David Baca still able to muster a smile. You gave him a race, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, if you can't get up for Big Blue with a champ like Larry Dixon, you know, I tell you what, I went red, and tried to go blue. But you know what, red, and I still owe Dixon. He's the only one I didn't even up with this weekend. You know, I'm even with everybody. I'm down 3. You know, I just want to say thanks. We had a great weekend. You know, I believe we went up into 6 and maybe even closer to 5th. I do say that the American Racing Top Fueler, Waterloo Tool Special, all my local guests here, I want to say thank you. And I tell you what, we're moving up and moving on.
And we want to thank you for joining us. There's our schedule for 2 weeks from now when we're in Brainerd. For Mike Gunn, Bill Stevens, Dave Reef, Parker Johnson, and our entire ESPN2 crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks again. Here is RPM Tonight is coming up next with John Kernan. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Larry Dixon sweeps the Western Swing. So long, everybody.